So here's one you're all going to know, but I'm going to go through it because I promised you I would go through them all, and here are all of them. So this one is it's known as the two-card Monte. And the pattern goes a little something like this. You say to the spectator, pardon me, but have you heard that you've been to Vegas before? You've heard of this three-card Monte trick. It's where they take three cards and they'll put them on the table and they'll mix them up. You know, one card here, one card there, and you're supposed to find the queen out of the two indifferent cards. They'll say, yeah, and I'll say, oh yeah, usually you're about $50 short by the end of the game. You know this game? And they're like, oh yeah, I know that game. So, you want to start them off thinking about that premise, okay? And then you say, this is something I've tried before, and it's been able to fool the three-card Monte people. This is called a two-card Monte. And essentially it is this. And so that's your startup. That's your pattern for the trick, and then you want to get right into it. Now, how you get into it is you're going to have a small stack on the top of the deck. A stack meaning a small setup of cards that, that you've set up. And so in this case, we'll have whatever, two indifferent cards turn into two aces, because that's what David did to the football coach, I think it was, one of the football players. And I don't know, I don't watch football, so don't hate mail me about football. So essentially, if I can set it up correctly, your setup from the top of the deck is going to look like this. Jack, ace, ace, jack. What I like to do is I like to have a black jack and a red jack, a black ace and a red ace. You don't have to do it this way. You could change. I also like to do it like I'll have, instead of my jacks here, I'll have a 5 of red and a 7 of black. Okay? Because they're so indifferent. They're two odd cards, which is a really good subtlety. They are a black and a red, which is a good subtlety. You can always say to them, okay, memorize just black and just red, okay? And then you could have them pick up two. It could be two jokers instead of the aces. It could be whatever you want. This is a great trick, and I mix it. I never do the same trick twice when it comes to this one. Not to say that I don't do the same trick twice in front of the same spectator. This one, it doesn't matter if it's a new spectator or an old spectator. I'm always going to pick the closest cards that I can fix. What by that is what I mean is, see right here, I'm fanning through the deck and I've already found two eights, and luckily they're of different colors, and below it, right next to one of the eights and right next to the other eight, I've got a 2 and a 3 also of different colors. This is a perfect setup. Okay, so if I found that in the deck, which I just did, if I found that, I would just simply cut that to the top, flip it over, and go on with the three-card Monte pattern until I'm ready to execute the move itself. And so the trick looks like this. I want you to do me a favor, hold your handle like this, or you can ask them to hold their handle like that, or like this. I prefer to do it like this because it's a little more uncomfortable to turn their hand around than like that. They can just flip their hand right around and check it out. So if you ask them to hold their hand like this, and you're going to place the cards right in here, they don't know what this is for. You're just going to go, do me a favor, hold your hand like this. And when they hold their hand out, usually people do this a couple times with their thumb, because that's, you know, walk as I walk, and then you walk funny, they walk funny. Anyway, so, first things first, you want to get the top card into their fingertips. Okay? The subtlety is you want them to think that you're doing a double lift here. If they know what a double lift is, if they don't, it doesn't matter, because when you put it on the deck, square it up, and then pass them the card, they think you've done something funny. You want them to think you've done something funny at this point. I'll tell you why in a second. So I do my double lifts, like you guys know. I do the push-off double lift, where I push off 2 with my left thumb into my right hand, just like that. That was a double lift. A single card is the jack on top. I prefer to keep that consistent, so even if I am taking one card, I'll do the push-off for the one card. So you do the push-off, one card, you say, okay, we'll take the black jack, just like that, and I'm going to place it into your hands, and they have their hand like this, so it gets shoved into their hand like that. And at this point, I take their attention away from them holding the card. So immediately, that also gives them a thought in their mind. Why is he taking so much attention away from the card that's in my hand right now? Has he switched the card? If they didn't think I've switched it from my funny moves earlier, which I did this, I squared it up, and then I passed it to them, and then I'm directing attention away from it so that they won't, go ahead and flip over the card, I would rather them flip over the card and look at it. A, you get a good laugh because you're going to say to them, oh, you don't trust me? I'm a magician and you still don't trust me. First of all, it's a very ironic sentence because you're a magician, you're not supposed to be trusted because you are constantly lying and acting to the people in front of you. Secondly, you want them to flip it over. While it's in their hand like that, you want them to flip it over because it gives you time to prepare for a triple lift over here. Okay, so this is in their hands. I'm just going to place it down for now. And then I do a triple lift just like I do my double lifts. I just push off 3 cards instead of 2. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3 cards under there. Okay, so also, if you don't, because I still do need to look and count and make sure that's 3 cards. I can't just feel for that. For a double lift, I can do it in my sleep. I can just feel for it. I can see it in my mind's eye when I'm not looking. I know what it looks like, and I know what it feels like in my hands and my eyes. But a triple lift, I'm still not 100%. So when they're looking at that, and I say, what, you don't trust me? I take a quick glance over here, make sure I've only got 3, and I'll flip it upside down, I'll hold it like that. And while I'm holding it like this, they're still laughing about this joke. So I'll have this one in plain view, and I'll bow the card a little bit so they don't see the corners. Or sometimes I'll just keep it held as close to the deck with my thumb on this edge, my fingers on this edge, just distorting everything. So they're laughing about that. I'll say, no, just hang on to it for a second. So they'll go back to this position with the card face down in their palm, and I'm saying, now look, we'll take a red jack. I'm going to try the same thing essentially. Now, another thing I want to emphasize, I'm going to show you 2 different versions of this because there's 2 great subtleties, okay? So when you do the triple lift and then you take a single card off and say, this is the spectator's hand and this is the magician's hand over here. So I'll say it like I'm doing the trick. So what if I come over here and I switch the cards? Now you know that you're holding the red jack and I'm holding the black jack, but really they're holding one of the 2 top cards from your triple lift. So that's the first subtlety you want to do. So they have this card. So you come along and you say, look, if I just switch the card real quick, now you've got the red jack, whatever. What if I switched it one more time? That's when you're going to want to do a top change. Okay? But that's the move right there. The cards are still the same, but I've just done that real quick, and then I bring my hands down to do a quick top change. Okay? I'm going to bring my camera a bit lower so we can see this. Maybe we can see this a bit better. No, that wouldn't work. Right about... That'll do. So yeah, you know what, let me just start this all over again, because this is where it can get really confusing, and I don't want to leave anything out, because this is a really, really good effect, and if you do it properly, you get great psychology. So the first thing is here, this is going to be the spectator's hand right around here. Okay? I'll bring this out a bit more. So I'll take one card here, and I'm going to place it into your palm, just like so, into your closed fist, just like that. Now, do you believe I've been able to change that card at all? Oh, you don't? Well, you can go ahead and check it out if you like. And as they're checking it out, I'm preparing for my triple lift over here. So they'll check it out, and as they're checking it out, I'll flip this card over and rest it right here. They're checking it out. Oh, yeah, I guess you don't trust me, whatever. Oh, Mr. Magician here. So we'll also take a red jack, just like that. Now, I've got one of the indifferent cards, and what I'll do at first is I'll just go in there, and I'll change it, and then I'll flip the card upside down, and I'll put it over their card. So they're still holding it with their fingers over here, but I'll put this over so they can't flip the card over and check it out. But what if I did it real quick so you wouldn't be able to see? Now what would you... Now, see, this is how the pattern goes. If I was to switch it real quick, what would you bet on? The red to be on the bottom or the red to be on the top? And as you're saying that, you want to come over and do a quick top change and put that card back on top just like so. And they're going to say, well, I'd be impressed if the black one was on the top. They really have no idea which one's which, and I really have no idea at this point which one's which, but I know that they've both changed because of the sleights that I've been doing and the years that I've been doing this. I know I've done it right. So, real quick again, okay, we're going to have you, the 3-card Monte in casinos, you're $50 short, yada yada yada. This is the magician's version. This is called the 2-card Monte, and I've been able to actually fool some of the dealers that do the 3-card Monte with this exact effect. Would you like to see it? Okay, do me a favor. Go ahead and hold your hand like a little pincher, just like that. Yeah, I'm going to place a card in there. We'll take the black jack, just like so, and I'm going to place it right in your hand, just like that. Now, we'll also take another card. Oh, well, you don't believe me? You don't think that's still the jack? Well, you can go ahead. You can check it out if you like. Yes, it's still, you don't trust me. That's okay. It's okay. We'll move on. We've got a red jack here. Okay? And what I want to do, essentially, is I want to switch the card out just like that, right? But I want to do it quick enough that you can't even see it. Now, without looking, which one would you say is still in your hand? Which one do you think it is? Do you think the red one is there? And the black one's on top? But would it impress you if they didn't move at all and the black one's there and the red one's on top? What would impress you? As I'm waiting, I casually cut the cards, so their cards are now lost in the middle of the deck. The cards that they saw before, the 2 jacks. Now they're lost inside the middle of the deck. And so the magic is done. I say, look, I haven't got any jacks here or anything like that. Why don't you flip over your hand and check it out? The magic's done. It's all over. So I have 3 minutes left on this tape, and that gives me enough time to just do it one more time. And I'm going to do it with the pattern, a revised pattern, just because I don't really have a spectator to work from. You'll notice that when you do magic, the pattern will change every time you do the magic. Every time you do another trick, you'll get better and better and better at making it more believable with the things you say, just because you've had more human contact, more human interaction doing these tricks. And you will learn from your mistakes, and you'll learn from your successes at the same time. So there's a trick in Vegas that they know how to do. It's called a 3-card Monte, and they'll scam you on the streets with it. So you ever see it on the streets, you better watch out for it. They take 3 cards on the table, and they say, you got to find the queen, find the queen. And now usually doing that and telling them that there's 3 cards involved, everyone knows what's up at that point. They're like, oh yeah, I've played that game, and I wound up, I was pretty short on the cash. And you can even make a little joke about that. What I'd like to say is, usually by the end of the game you're about $50 short. Is that about right? And they're going to be like, oh yeah, give or take. And it's cheesy, it gets a laugh, it gets going. Also, it keeps them talking to you. You want the spectator to keep on talking to you. The more questions you ask, the more interactions you have per minute with the audience will make your magic stronger. It's not really about the effect, it's about entertainment at this point. Anyway, 1.5 minutes left. Let's go through the trick. So I'll take one card here. Hold your hand out like a little pincher, just like that. We'll take the Queen of Diamonds, just like that. Just remember red for me. Place it into your hand. Now, we'll also take another card here. Oh, well, you think I've been able to switch that? You can go ahead, check it out if you like. Okay, great. Yeah, it's still the same card. Don't trust me at all, do you? Okay, we'll take another queen here. We'll take a black queen, Queen of Spades, right? And what if I switch it? Just like that. Do you think if I switch it one more time, real quick, without even looking, do you think it's the same card? Do you think I've been able to switch it? Now you stick that back in their hands, and the magic's done. You just wait. You just say a bunch of stuff. Don't act too nervous at this point, because everyone has a tendency to be like, oh, well, what if I did this? What if I did that? Because the magic's already done. Your steps ahead of them. Watch how David Blaine does it. He just does it very simply. He lets them think about it. When they flip the card over, he shuts up. He lets the magic sink into their brain, and that is, in my opinion, one of the stronger ways to do this effect. And oh, sorry. I don't know if I showed you, but the cards have switched magically, as if by magic. So that's it for now. I'm going to let y'all go with that. Peace.